I'm here and we're looking at the differences in our decks. I always consider my cards as I would consider my friends or work colleagues or basically anybody I know. The best way to get all the information that you want using multiple decks or multiple systems is by treating them as individuals and then looking at them as a whole. I will explain this. You are at a team building exercise. There are people from many different departments. You may have a developer, you may have management, admin, all the different parts of a matrix organization are together in one room. You have an exercise to work together. The exercise is given to you. Your exercise could be, for example, on these, these team building things are like, you could have to build a raft together, you could have to get to the other side of a river together, for example. And you will choose the people who are best suited to a certain role. And that is what we are looking at here. So you will choose the right person for the job. Take your deck out and consider the qualities it has. Kipper is a situational deck. It's also very good at eking out the underbelly of a situation, something that the querent doesn't know. So this is a very good deck for oozing out the deeper and darker parts of a story. Gypsy is very good at that too. Lenormand is very good at the practicalities. It's very good at showing you what is actually happening on a daily basis. So it's a very good practical deck for the heres and nows and what is going to happen. Tarot then, obviously you can interswitch these and try them in different roles to find out how you find them to perform at their best. As we've already got the underbelly, we've got the practical, what's happening. I often use the tarot as the parts of a situation that aren't quite tangible yet. So the finer details, if you like. So you pigeonhole, for the sake of an exercise, the deck that you are using. And you give the intention, I want to use this deck as the deep underbelly. I'm going to use Lenormand as the what is going to happen practicalities. And then I'm going to use the tarot as an advice deck. You then have two options for laying the cards. You either mix everything together and do a mix read and see how many practical cards come out, how many underbellies come out, and how many advice or extra information comes out. You can then analyze what level of reading this is. Is it something a practical nature? Joe's going to meet Sally next Friday with the Lenormand, for example. Or is it the underbelly that your querent needs to know? With the Kipper deck, is there more information that your querent isn't actually seeing right now? Or are they needing an advice on how to form a tangible situation with the tarot? I would totally advise using decks that are a similar size. I actually haven't today because I am so in love with the Spirit Within tarot. So I am using this deck even though they're not the same sizes. So what we can suggest straight away from seeing this is that we have living room, which is an underbelly. So we can suggest that the main underbelly here is internal issue with our querent. With it being living room is a very internal card and it's a stop card. So it's a card that she is feeling and hasn't changed for a while. The practical cards, we have woman here who is our querent. She's very present in this. We have birds, which is anxiety or stress, and we have snake showing us that there is a form of betrayal here. Could be just complications for her, especially with the internal card here. she's actually sensing a betrayal, but it may be more of an internal issue, maybe more of her own issue, especially with our stress next to it. And then the advice card. So we can suggest that our querent needs more advice than actually what's going on at the situation. She needs this advice from the tarot that's coming up. So directly in front of her, we have getting nowhere and a complete frustration at that. We can see again, this leads us to the internal card here that shows us that it's probably more to do with her, not actually the situation itself. She is at a moment in her career or life where she is completely frustrated, at a standstill perhaps. Doesn't know how to deal with this because we have stress on the real life cards. We have stress and we have our snake betraying her. But we can see the snake beneath these two cards that we have the standstill and not going anywhere situation and frustration. She knows that these complications are there and she knows that she has to deal with them, but she doesn't probably know how to. We then have above her head the Knight of Pentacles and beneath her the Chariot. The Chariot, my favorite tarot card. And then Strength, obviously. So we have the Chariot and we have Strength beneath her as a reminder or as an advice card. We can suggest that she needs to get her thoughts in order, be methodical to overcome this frustrating still period. She is perhaps creating this by not getting her thoughts and processes into the order that they should be in. The other option is to use the 3 decks separately but on the same situation. So we start by laying the cards that are our practical what is going to happen deck. We've chosen Lenormand in this case. We would suggest the main situation shows us news here, lady and snake. If you are a directional reader, you will suggest that there is fortunate news, good news coming, but the woman thinks that there's, or believes there's something behind it. There could be something snaky behind this news that's coming her way. Now we want to know more underbelly on this situation, so we pick up our underbelly deck and we lay them as our underbelly beneath. We can see that this situation, again, if you're reading directionally, you would have started with your lady card beneath her. We have a change. A change is moving from money to hope great water. So moving from a windfall through to what she hopes is the end goal. So more information on this situation that involves our querent and the news that's coming in that she finds difficult to deal with, perhaps with snake behind her back. So the underbelly of the situation is perhaps that she's paying money out to get to her end goal. The underbelly, the deeper situation is here. This is the actions that she can see and feel right now, and then underneath is the information that is a deeper information, or sometimes it can be seen as the bigger picture. So we have money changing into end goals. So although we have negative card here with snake behind her back and complications, the underbelly of it is a very positive underbelly. So it is for a good reason, this situation. Remember, you would have had a situation in mind. And then we take the tarot. We then ask our advice on this situation, or we ask for the peripheral information that the querent hasn't quite made tangible yet. That's the information that I like to get. Finer details, if you like, of the situation. The extra information that we gain from this is a weighing down perhaps of our querent, because we do have the Ace of Wands, but then we have 2 reversed swords. We have the 2 of Swords and we have the Knight of Swords in a reverse position. The Ace of Wands here showing this inspiration. And if we look at the actual column that we have here, we have the rider, which is fast movement card as well, news coming in. But we also have the inspiration and the go for it of the Ace of Wands and the end goal. So the actual situation, remember, is our news coming and woman concerns that it's not quite right, or it's not, she can't trust this so much. Beneath, we actually see her, she is paying money out to get to her end goal. So the deeper situation here is that she's working towards her end goal, despite this being how she feels on this earth at this moment in time. And then above, we see the Ace of Wands with its inspiration and go for it, let's do this attitude, coming down as an extra information on this situation. And then we have the two swords reversed here, showing an inability to make a decision and an impatience and this built up energy that is probably linked with this feeling behind her back that something's not quite right. The swords above, then this extra information, this extra level of perhaps frustration with herself at not making a decision. Treat your cards as you would your friends. Consider their best aspects, what role you like to see them in, and practice. And don't forget to tag me in, because I would really love to see these, especially to see what roles you assign your cards. I will see you on the next one. Park. Nate's behind me. Did you see him walk out there? He's doing his own video. We all like different things in life. Nate's doing a vlog on his brother playing basketball, and Lloyd and I are going to do something for his vlog, and we're looking at my vlog about the differences